Hello mathematicians, puzzlers, and other curious people. In this video we are here to start our beach picture crafts by making a good background to attach all our other pieces to. So I'm going to do this in GeoGebra, and I'm starting at the geogebra.org page. Feel free to pause to get that loaded up if you need to. I'm going to be using the Geometry web app, but you're also welcome to download an offline app or anything like that. Some of the menus might look a little bit different if you download something onto your own computer, but it should have all the same basic features. You just might need to take a little longer to find them. So I'm in the GeoGebra Geometry web app now, and I want to show you a couple of things about it. So it's got these axes for X and Y coordinates, and it's got a grid that you can look at if you switch it on. Now we're not going to be using the grid in our final drawing, but we are going to use it to help us out with some things. So I'm going to start by drawing two lines across that will be the top edge and the bottom edge of our beach picture. And so our bottom one is going to be at 0, so I'm going to say y equals 0 for that one. So you see how it made the x-axis a bit more bold. I'm also going to put one at y equals 10. I'm just typing these in on my keyboard, and you see it made that line a bit more bold. Now I'm also going to draw a couple of vertical lines to be the left and the right edge. So I'm going to put a vertical line at x equals 0. It might show you a little bit of a sort of rough draft partway along while you're in the middle of putting one of these in, like it did for that. Just ignore that. If it does something you don't want it to do, you can use the undo button also. Okay, and I'm going to put another line over at x equals 15. And you can see how that's made sort of a bit of a frame. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is make up two numbers. I'm going to call them A and B. And I'm going to put a line across at y equals A and y equals B. Now right now there's a problem, and that's that I can put both of these outside my frame, and I can't put them up any further than halfway up. So here's what I'm going to do about that. I'm going to go into the settings on each of these sliders, and I'm going to change the minimum to 0 and the maximum to 10. So now it's literally picking a number from 0 to 10 and drawing a line across that point. I'm going to do the same thing on my other number. So a minimum of 0, a maximum of 10. And we can put those wherever we want them. Okay, now what I'm going to do is go around and mark the corners. Whoops. Okay, my hand slipped a little off of the corner for that one, so this is a good thing to show you. If you slip a little bit and it's not right on the corner, it may be able to slide around. You can tell that that happened because it's blue instead of gray like this one. Gray ones are fully determined by other features of the graph, like this line and this line can only have one intersection. Blue ones can be changed. So we want them to be fully determined at the corners. Whoops, that did that again. And we're going to use these corners in a moment to help us out with something. Now I want to show you how this is going to look in a little while. So in a little while it's not going to have all these lines. But wait a minute, if we don't have all those lines, what are we going to see? Well, we've still got those points, right? So I'll put these back for a minute. So what are we going to have with those points, but instead of those lines? And actually, eventually we're going to hide those points too, but you'll still be able to see where they are, because what we're going to do is have polygons between those points. So a polygon is any straight-sided, so it's got lines instead of curves, two-dimensional figure that is closed, meaning as you're going around and in GeoGebra defining it by its corners, you have to come back around to the corner you started at. So now let's hide all those extra objects and see what we have. Okay, we're on our way. So the things we can see now are the polygons. In particular, these are rectangles, and the segments that determine their sides. So how does this help us? Well, it turns out that we can change the color of these things. So if what we want is sand, and then the ocean, and then the sky, we need to use colors that look like those things. So my picture is going to be from Earth, but if you want to use different colors because you're depicting a different planet, that's fine. I'm going to come into the settings, and I'm going to come to the color tab, and I'm going to pick a color that looks like sand. I'm going to turn the opacity way up. That's a little too yellow to be sand. Maybe that one? I'll try that one for a while. And then I want a nice sky blue up here. Let's see. If I turn the opacity way up on that, it could work for a sky blue, maybe a little more teal. Oh, I like that one best. Okay. And then for the sea, we need a nice, I'm going to use a nice dark blue. And again, turn the opacity way up. Not quite that dark, though. I kind of like to go between those. Let's see. So we've got our numbers that correspond to those colors. So we've got 125 red, 125 green, 255 blue. Here we've got 51, 51, 255. So maybe, I noticed those were the same. I'm going to try 85 and see if I like it. 85 of each. Closer. I think maybe a real ocean could be a little more green than red. So I'm going to turn this one down to 80 and turn this one up to 90. Okay, I'm going to try that. Okay, I think that works. So we've got sand and ocean and sky. And now a really great thing that we can do, because this is GeoGebra and it redraws itself for you, is you can move around those lines. So, okay, it gets weird if you push one up past the other. Same thing. But you can say, okay, I want that much sky, maybe about a 6.8 as our dividing line there. And I want to go all the way up to about 4. Okay, I can get it right on the 4 with the sand. So that gives us our sand and our water and our sky. Now, one really important thing to do is save this. So if you're logged in to your account that you use to save things in GeoGebra, that's a great way to save it. You can just hit save, type in something you'll be able to remember, like beach, and then click save. If you don't already have an account, you might want to make one really quick. You can use your Gmail account that you might already have, or several others with this. It's compatible with a lot of things. Now, if you don't want to do that, you could download it as a GeoGebra file and that'll let you still be able to edit it. Or if you really, really have to, your last option, the one I like the least, to be honest, is to export it. Now, if you're going to export it, you should make a visual change first. You should turn off the axes and the grid so that it looks, more like a picture. And then export image. You can click download and it downloads for you. But again, that's really the least good option. It's better to keep it as that .dgb, the GeoGebra file, because that way you can edit it if you decide you want to change the colors or move around your divider lines between your different parts of the picture, anything like that. So it's always better to have the options than to not have the options. Okay, so that's where we're going to stop with this video. And now I'm going to post another one quite soon for the first type of thing that we're going to add on to this picture. But for now, until then, I'm going to say calculator.